going into the second game here. So, of course, for Pikachu, we got TPS Priceless near Book, Carry On, and It's Only Game. It is only game. That's actually funny. Fun name there. So, but yeah, Pikachu, again, they got some recognizable players. Obviously, they've been around for a little bit now. They have some success to vouch for, so they're up 1-0. TT Esports, though.
White now is the new captain. Riser, Moravis, Leon Black, and Enzo stepping in right now for the squad.
It's so weird not seeing Slicks.
I know it.
It's so weird. I mean, he's just been with the organization for so long. He's been with White-Talibot for so long, but
things happen.
Things happen, I guess. You know, changing and going over to vote again if you missed that. So interesting stuff there. But also a couple other. I just want to also bring up a couple other matches that, of course, are happening as well for the Diamond Division here. 3 other matchups are currently taking place, or were said to be taking place during the losers bracket here for the Diamond. Lions is playing Q Squad 777. I still believe they're in game number 1, actually, so that's going on right now. Of course, Pikachu up 1-0 over TT Esports. Pudge was set to play Domain of Pain, but apparently Domain of Pain, unfortunately, they weren't able to get 5, and they had to forfeit that matchup. So they are now done, at least for this cycle. Now, they're still going to be in Diamond as a result of making it this far, but they are done in this cycle. And then Q Squad's actually playing with One Trick Pony, the other Q Squad, the original Q Squad team.
357.
Yeah, 357. There you go. Nova and whatnot. So, but yeah, unfortunate to hear that about a Domain of Pain, but yeah, I guess it happens. So,
yeah, it is unfortunate. I'm a little disappointed too, especially because I close friends with those guys, and I know they talk about taking it seriously, but it's you know, forfeiting a match like this is. It's kind of a big deal. I mean, you lose out on a lot of points, especially when you get knocked out this early on.
Yeah,
in this league. In this division. But
they're still getting some money, and it's not points. And obviously, you're losing on money. But you know, that's a great point. I mean, you're losing on points, and by the end of the season, again, the top 3 teams, they're going to be flown out to an undisclosed location to compete in the grand finals for even a bigger prize pool. And then on top of that, the 4th through 11th seed, they're going to compete in their own little tournament to see which the final team is going to be flown out. So points play a very big role, and you know, it's very important to get off to that good start. So, but they are still going to be in Diamond, so that is the good news when you look at it. But anyways, it looks like game number 2 has actually started here, Terrell. So
yep,
I believe we are ready. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
We're ready. Do it. Game number 2. We got Pikachu taking on TT Esports. Let's take a look. This time around, of course, TT Esports on the Legion side, Pikachu on the Hellborn side. You got to wonder, I mean, is this going to be another Pikachu going more of a very aggressive push strategy lineup, or are we going to see maybe something different from them?
I think we're going to see something a little bit more standard. Also, I was going to say right from the get-go, expect Keeper of the Forest to be blind banned. Like, that's pretty much the bread and butter of most push lines because he's got everything. He's got lots of push as well as fantastic initiation and team fight with the ultimate. So it just works wonders with that lineup. But yeah, he is blind banned, and for good reason, coming out from White-Talibot, as well as a Tempest, so some more push and strong jungle potential. Hellborn, they've been out Fade and Wild Soul, and I actually like those bans a lot. Now, the one thing to keep in mind is Ophelia is kept open. So one thing to think about for TT Esports, especially being in first position. But they actually first locked Meraxis.
Yeah. Yeah, Meraxis doesn't tend to get locked up too often here now, because but he usually gets banned. Again, that's kind of a funny thing with a hero like Meraxis. He's just one of those heroes that just seems to be a niche ban. But locked up here first, as you put it, by White-Talibot for TT Esports. So we'll see if maybe that's going to come into play there for him, maybe even Pikachu if it comes down to it. Ophelia and Parasite, though, the reaction locks from Pikachu. So, yeah, there's going to be some tough decisions to make, no doubt, as far as especially with that first pick out of the lock pool, at least from what we see so far. So, but yet again, already making it be a strong lock pool, just like last game. It was a very jungle heavy. I mean, this time around, of course, with that Parasite and Ophelia starting that trend. So we'll see if White-Talibot kind of continues it here, but his choice, obviously. I mean, it's a new rule for White-Talibot. Again, we stressed that in the first game. Not to say that he can't do it by any means. He is a very smart player, of course, and he's been around for a long time. But Slicks was the captain prior to for so long, really forever, when you think about it. So White-Talibot kind of stepping into that new role, but it'd be kind of interesting to see, you know, how comfortable he actually feels. So
yeah, absolutely. I think he's going to do just fine. I think he's a smart and level-headed guy, and I think he knows what works and what doesn't. So I don't think, as far as drafting goes, it's going to be a problem at all for them.
Glacius and Pebbles, the follow-up blocks from White-Talibot, and then Pharaoh to finish things off, actually, from Pikachu. Now, we talk a lot about Jonathan Fan playing Pharaoh for Q Squad and how he plays it so well. Book actually plays a fantastic Pharaoh as well over here for Pikachu, so maybe we'll get to see some of the Book Pharaoh this time around. We'll see. Aluna going to be banned right off the bat, though, and now we're going to commence in the banning phase here.
Yeah, some support's being banned out. That's kind of interesting. I mentioned that before, is that we see lots of jungles banned, and there was a time where we actually saw a lot of supports banned, namely
Yeah.
Aluna and Nymphora Glacius were banned very, very frequently. No one wanted to get any or let anyone else get those, but those just kind of slip through every single game now, it seems like. Engineer actually is the next ban, who is kind of like the up-and-coming new popular support hero.
Yeah, it is.
And I will say that Pikachu actually ran him a long time ago. They liked him before he was popular.
Yeah.
The hipster status.
They were the hipsters over there. Yeah, no, they definitely did. I do recall that, but now Engineer is really, I think it's safe to say, I mean, he's up there even with the Luna Glacius for just how often we see him and how highly teams value him, especially in certain makeups and when it comes to laning phase. So, banned here, though, so not going to see him. The Luna Tundra Engineer Magmus, speaking of Engineer, Magmus a great partner of his, but not going to see either one of those. And now, of course, we're waiting on 2 more bans in total. TteS Esports first, and then Pikachu next. Again, just a quick reminder as well. If you are tuning in, originally we did think, but I do apologize for that. Where I wasn't aware that the schedule of how it exactly works. It's the first cycle. We're still learning ourselves even. But the winners bracket matchup is actually the later matchup. So we will be casting Complexity versus Trademark Esports. That's going to be happening after this best of 3. Actually, it's set to happen about just over 2 hours from now. So for those that may have been tuning in for that or are wondering when exactly that is going to be happening. But again, we got a great matchup here. Game 1 was awesome, and definitely stick around to watch this Pikachu taking on TteS Esports 2, of course, very quality teams. Demented Shaman going to be the final ban from Whitalaba. So speaking of push, banned him last game, banning him this game. Now it's on Pikachu to finish things off here.
I think it's a smart ban from Magmus coming out from TPS Priceless as well as the Tundra. In fact, I like pretty much everything he's done as far as his locks and his bans go. One more ban from TPS Priceless. To wait and see what he wants to get rid of. If you're looking at certain heroes, is that Zephyr is on the board as well as Dark Lady, Silhouette. They go ahead and ban Silhouette. I think that's a fine decision. Silhouette's just a fantastic laning carry. You know, put him in the short lane against a Suicide. You don't need any other hero to help him out, and also carries you to the late game. So they ban out that Silhouette.
Yep, not gonna have to worry about her. And now it's on Whitalaba to actually first pick a hero here. Not going to make any snap decisions, though. Clearly going to think about this, already using a bit of extra time, down to about 32 seconds there. And it's going to be Draconis, actually. God, it seems like it's been forever since we've seen Draconis, honestly. I don't know if I don't think we saw him at DreamHack at all, at least in the matches we covered. I mean, now, again, it's for good reason. I mean, he's usually banned most of the time, but Draconis picked up here for TteS Esports, so we'll see how he plays here.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's just one of those heroes sometimes that people got tired of running him. I think it's as simple as that. Like, they didn't want to run him anymore. He just seemed so dirty. Teams felt dirty after picking him, and they just didn't want to pick him anymore. But, hey, that hero farms ridiculously fast. And in the late game, just being able to press R and not have to worry about what target you're hitting is pretty ridiculous.
Must be great, right? Yeah. It is a very powerful tool. So now TPS Price is going to have to think about how they want to approach this. Again, they don't necessarily need to rush a hard carry here. They could save that for their 3rd pick even. So they're going to go with Bubbles as the first pick. And now going to follow that up. I mean, the support could be a solid option here. You have Glacius in that pool. You can maybe safely assume that you'll eventually get him. But there is also an M4 out there as another go-to. Even Empath, as we've seen from time to time. So,
yeah.
And if you are going to eventually pick up something like the Dark Lady, Empath could actually be a very powerful option. Hammerstorm, though, is instead going to be the option here for Pikachu. So a little bit different there, but still very, very solid hero, of course. Hammerstorm, Bubbles, the first 2 for Pikachu.
I love Bubbles. Hammerstorm, I'm curious as to see if they want to run it as a carry. I think it's best played as a carry. I think Hammerstorm actually as a carry does work, man.
Yeah.
Does so much damage with that ultimate. If you get something like an Elder Parasite on him, too, it's ridiculously strong. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see. If they did something maybe even like a Hammerstorm Andromeda, I think picking up a support is kind of a must here in this situation, though, because if you look at that log pool, Glacius seems obvious, especially against Parasite, especially against Ophelia. So, yeah, I would definitely secure support here if I'm Pikachu. TteS Esports, they have options, though, because they are in the first position.
It's going to be interesting, man. I mean, the lock pool, so you think a first pick Glacius out of that lock pool is very possible.
Yeah.
I guess, yeah, with your Ophelia and Parasite, sure, but yeah, Glacius is good against those.
Now, it depends on what they pick here. If they pick a support here in TteS Esports, that's probably their Suicide, securing that Suicide. They don't really run fair with that often, and Plague Rider's Suicide is effective for them. Torture, Torture could be played as a support, so maybe they don't want Glacius. Maybe they just want to pick a Ophelia, but that would give Pikachu Glacius instead. It all depends now on what Pikachu picks right here. If they don't pick a support, then maybe Glacius first pick out of that lock pool might be the smartest thing.
Yeah, see, that's why I actually like that Torture pick, because Torture's a hero that can't. Sure, he can be the support, but he can also be, your solo mid, your short lane. I mean, he can be very powerful for that. So I think that's actually a very smart pick to finish things off by Vitalba right there. It kind of puts it back on Pikachu now, depending on what they do here. If they pick a support, then yeah, if you're TTE Sports, you don't first pick that Glacius, but if they don't, then you maybe do. So they go Forsaken Archer. So yeah, if you're TTE Sports, maybe eyeing that Glacius now. In that lock pool, we'll see if that's what Vitalba was thinking. And it'll be interesting decision making for Pikachu then, if that follows. But it's up to Vitalba. We'll see what he eventually chooses here.
I think it's fine to first pick Glacius because you still have an opportunity for a jungle. Like, there's no way you're going to pick both Parasite and Ophelia. That'd be just silly. So if you're TT Sports, I would be eyeing that Glacius, especially. You could be just eyeing the Parasite and then have a free road to Glacius as well. Well, no, that wouldn't really work. So, yeah, I would actually pick Glacius out of this pool. Yep.
Glacius. There you go. And as you said, that's actually another great point. I didn't even think about that, but they're not going to go Ophelia and Parasite, or very likely not. So at least you're going to have one of those two as your final option. And actually, a TT Sports lineup is shaping up very, very nicely when you really look at it. So that's going to be good for them. And now it's back on Pikachu, though, as far as how they want to go with this. I mean, at this point, you're thinking maybe it's something like a Hammer Storm Forsaken Archer lane.
Yeah.
You got Bubbles Suicide. So here you maybe pick up, or Bubbles Mid even. Here you maybe go, I guess, Ophelia. Yeah, Ophelia Pharaoh. Yeah, so Ophelia Pharaoh going to be the final two picks. And you got to think Parasite here for Vitalba now. So
yeah, definitely Parasite. I like that they still picked Ophelia. Sometimes teams, they see a Glacius like, oh, I can't play Ophelia into Glacius, but it's still easily the strongest pick here. And yeah, we are most likely going to see a Bubbles solo mid, and I love Bubbles mid. I think he's so strong in mid, I really do. Pharaoh in that long lane, he's gonna have a hard time, presumably up against the Draconis Glacius. Draconis Glacius could actually go mid, or they could actually just go short lane Draconis and then Glacius Torture mid.
That's what I was thinking,
with Parasite roaming around. That would probably be strongest for them.
Yeah. Yeah, when I saw the lineup, that's actually what I was thinking first. See the Glacius Torture mid instead, but again, it'll depend as well, I'm sure, as far as how the HoN team eventually lands, and maybe see some adjustments. But Enzo, he's going to be playing the Draconis, so Enzo, I guess it's safe to say. I mean, he played the Silhouette last game. He's playing the Draconis this game. He's kind of stepped in as their new carry role, even. And I was intrigued by that. That was one of the first things that went through my mind, at least, when I heard about the whole Slicks transition going to Vote, was of course, how the hell do you replace Slicks? Well, let's be honest, you don't. I mean, you can't replace a player like Slicks in the end. I mean, it's just not going to happen 100%. But to get close, how are you going to approach it if you're TTE Sports? Do you look for a carry player, a new carry player? Do you look maybe for a new pure support player and switch roles around from there? But because Moravis and Riser, I think, both can definitely play that carry role very effectively. But in the end, they got Enzo, and Enzo is playing the carry role for them. So.
Yeah, that is the role that I think fits him best, so I think it's only natural that he's playing his carry role. As I'm looking at the lineup a little bit more, they're probably not going to do this because actually Plague has the boots and he's going to go place that ward, so he's going to be Suicide. But I actually think that an aggressive tri-lane with Parasite, Torture, and Glacius would have been strong, and even a Plague solo mid. It seems weird, but Plague solo mid is actually pretty damn strong. They're not going to do it, though, so I don't even know why I'm talking about it.
Yeah, that would be fun, but yeah. With the boots already purchased on Plague Rider, very likely just going to go the norm. I'm not going to think out of the box, Drelf. That would never happen here on the competitive scene.
Pikachu did it last game. I guess
I
it's
know.
not really out of the box, so we've seen that from them before. But yeah,
I just totally insulted the whole competitive scene. I just realized. I didn't mean to, guys. No, obviously, and as I've said in the past, I think right now we're the most diverse we've ever been. I truly do believe that. As far as strategies go, as far as lineups go, it's pretty fun to see. So, by the way, that's Glacius, right? Wow, it took me a second to realize who the hell this was. This is the new Glacius. I'm not exactly sure what it's called, but yeah, it's just a guy with a hoodie, Christmas hat even, just kind of walking around and doing his thing. I wonder what his animations, if they might be different. Where's my F12?
Look at this item build from. Oh, we're gonna see level 1 Kong or level 1. Level 1 Kongor.
I thought about that, but then I didn't. And okay, yeah, they're gonna go for it. Oh, this is gonna be really interesting though, because TTE Esports obviously in the vicinity. You have Hammerstorm plays in a very good ward of sight there. We'll gain some vision, and so now for TTE Esports, do you dare check the Kongor whenever you're dealing against a Pharaoh, especially? I mean that. From you have to at least put the thought in your mind. Oh, Pharaoh's in trouble! Oh, Ophelia takes the last couple of hits right there. And actually, here we go. Glacius runs in. They realize very quickly they're going for it. A great chain reactions right there. There goes the Dragon Flame coming after Draconis. Hammerstorm's on the counter, though. Are they going to get any kills out of this? I don't believe they are. The Hellborn team manages to retreat in time before any deaths happen. Wow, that was close. The fact that Pharaoh ended up surviving there, let alone from Conqueror, let alone from the team, is pretty crazy. But they'll live, and they're going to go regen now. They'll be a little bit late to the lanes, but at least they'll get there. So.
But at what cost, as TPS Price has said? Well, the cost is going to be pretty unfortunate items for it to only gameplay in this bubble. It's like Ring of the Teacher, and now only one source of regen being that health potion. He's already at half HP, and he's going to be up against the Torturer. Now, the top lane, what do we have? Ophelia is going to be in the jungle. It's going to be a solo Pharaoh, actually, against the Suicide Plague. Plague's going to have a field day, I'm pretty sure, up in this top lane. And then, of course, bottom lane, Forsaken Archer, dual lane mid with support Hammerstorm, who, by the way, sold his shield. Or got rid of it. He had a shield on him.
Hammerstorm did?
Yeah. I'm almost 100% sure he had a shield.
It's very likely, yeah.
I think he sold it and then bought a ward? I don't know, but that is
he
weird.
had the 2 wards on him initially, I'm pretty sure. He placed the one, he still had the other one on him. In fact, he's going to place it right here. But yeah, he only has 85 gold, so unless he bought regen for somebody else, which could, we know they used some regen, so.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm almost 100% positive he had a shield. Because I was thinking they can just bounce back and forth between Pharaoh and Hammerstorm because the Hammerstorm bought a shield. But, yeah, very interesting.
Yeah, it's kind of weird how you would sell it. Unless you buy something else. But yeah, I think he had the second ward aside already as well. Maybe he didn't. Maybe he landed one. Anyways, we do see a Vagabond actually being taken over right here by Whitetalba playing the Parasite. And Whitetalba, if any person, a jungle player, is going to take over Vagabond, it's him. I mean, we've actually seen Ophelia strats where he takes over 3 Vagabonds, and he just mana burns the crap out of you. So we see right there, Hammerstorm loses all his mana, and Parasite would just walk away in laughter. So Glacius coming on over, and actually Ophelia needs to be pretty careful right here. In fact, the Skeleton King's going to be taken over. Will he net? It might be on cooldown still, actually, as I believe Ophelia just used it. So, but going to chase her back. This bottom lane's going to be fun, man.
It's going to be horrible for Hellborn. Like, they're not going to get anything done in this bottom lane. I don't even know why they would send this lane to the bottom. Obviously, Glacius can really screw up Ophelia. On top of that, Parasite in the own jungle, they're not going to be able to do anything.
They're so lost right now, it seems like.
Yeah, they're going to absolutely have to switch things up. It's just not a good start here for Pikachu.
You know, it's funny because honestly, obviously we rarely see level 1 Conqueror attempts, but it seems like when the rare times we do, it always works. I mean, it always is successful. I don't know the last time we've actually seen a level 1 Conqueror attempt fail like this, and now we're going to kind of see that snowball. We do see Pharaoh right here is going to get caught out the top lane, and Bloodlust Kill going to come out. Moravis heading up there since he picked up that Haste Run, takes advantage of it. The 2-minute Haste Run he bottled up and gets the Bloodlust Kill. So that on top of everything that's going on so far. Again, we're not even 3 minutes into this game, but it already seems like TteS Esports has a momentum lead here, big time.
They really do. Forsaken Archer has transitioned into the mid, has the Ring of the Teacher, but Moravis having an extra gold now from Bloodlust is going to just do wonders in this lane. It's now going to be this dual lane mid with the support Hammerstorm. This is why I always talk about how the hell can you support with a melee. He does get the stun out, actually, on the Torturer. A lot of damage coming out. The Skeleton's pummeling auto attacks in like crazy. Torturer's just too fast with those early boots.
Yeah, that was very close, actually. So, but as you said, I mean, the point you're making that Hammerstorm support, it's like he's not going to be here to harass. He's more so here to throw out a stun every now and then and occasionally deny the creep. So that'll help Torture out in the sense he doesn't need to worry about that. But now, especially with Glacius roaming mid instead of being bottom, as Draconis can definitely handle himself just fine against the bubbles by all means. This will make things even that much more difficult now for Pikachu. So TteS Esports at the same time, I mean, you got to give them all the credit in the world. I mean, obviously they scouted out the level 1 Conqueror attempt and they completely foiled it, and their lane set up beautifully, and they're adjusting very well, and they're playing this early game very well on top of just the poor start for Pikachu. And again, it's just kind of amplifying here as we move on now, only 4 minutes into the game. But I mean, you break down the stats somewhat. Actually, in the middle lane, Glacius a little bit of trouble, but he's going to freeze for second. Archer, the chain reactions come out. Is going to be enough for the kill. The uphill attacks. Oh, they both connect, but he stays alive barely. One more would have done him in, but man, he barely squeaks away right there. That was close.
Yeah, that was very close, and A little bit of RNG factor coming into play with the uphill attacks, but
Yeah.
Rune is going to spawn bottom, it looks like. Or it was already taken, it looks like, from somebody. Not exactly sure who. Maybe it is.
Invis Rune on Hammerstorm bottom.
Oh, Invis Hammerstorm bottom. There we go. So, going to try to set something up. I don't know how you really can. Draconis has got full HP. Here comes Parasite as well.
Oh. Actually, yeah, Parasite Leech. Yes, it is going to connect. There's the auto attack, and Draconis gets the kill. Now Draconis in a lot of trouble, actually taking some tower damage on top of the side. And no, he's going to be fine. The final auto attack, health potion at the last second, barely helping to keep him alive. So that just did not go well for Pikachu whatsoever. Specifically, it is only game playing that bubbles. And the fact that Draconis got the kill on top of it all, again, it's just nothing is going right here for Pikachu to start off this game. I guess I shouldn't say that. I mean, we have Pharaoh actually 17-2 up here against a 21-11 Plague Rider, so he's not doing too shabby. He's still losing the lane technically in the creep score, but not doing too bad. And actually, Forsaken Archer 19-6, 21-5 Torturer. So, okay, it's not going horrible when you look at it that way, but
right,
it still is pretty bad.
Yeah, yeah. I'm actually surprised how well Pharaoh's doing, despite the fact that he is in this lane against the Plague Rider and already got ganked from Torturer at like minute 3 or minute 2, right after the haste rune was used by him. And yeah, Forsaken Archer actually getting not a bad farm either. And Ophelia's doing her thing in the jungle. Level 4 is not going to farm as fast as Parasite, at least right now, because of the lead that, or the start that TteS Esports had. But yeah, it's not out of control just yet. But all that thought, actually, Bubbles in a lot of trouble. Tries to get the face hug, but good job by Bubbles. Uses that shell surf, and then right away with the take cover to avoid that face hug coming out from Parasite, who, by the way, is actually maxing his Infest before his Leech. Find that just a little bit interesting.
Get the bigger and better creeps out of that. Now he's going to try to get the bottom room, but Hammerstorm once again is actually there, but it's stolen by Parasite with that face hug. The Leech comes out, Hammerstorm with the stun now, and actually Parasite may be the one that needs to be a little bit careful. Galvanize is going to be activated by Hammerstorm level 2, try to just barely stay out of range. Torture running in chain reactions will stun Bubbles actually, and the shell support will happen barely at the last second, and he'll be fine. So very, very close exchange right there. But that's one of those fun things about face hug. You know, normally you just think the burst damage and the silence that comes from it, but the fact that you steal, or their buffs I should say, is pretty damn awesome. In a case right there of taking over the double damage rune by Whitetail. Not enough to kill by the top lane. Yeah, Plague comes out, but he's already dead. Ophelia may fall. Will it bounce? No, it will not. She stays alive barely. And now they're going to push. So Pikachu, man, great job there at the top lane.
Yeah, I mean, good job by Pharaoh. He knew that he wasn't in range to get those mummy walls, so he just ulted. It seemed like a silly ult because it was only like 200 range, but every little bit counts. And they're going to try to push this top lane. The Catman Warrior does go down, unfortunately, as does the Skeleton King. So not really the biggest deal. Doesn't go to the heroes, but Ophelia, yeah, near setting up a good gank up there in the top lane. And the ultimate is now on cooldown for Plague Rider. So that's the biggest thing.
Yeah, and it didn't get anything. It didn't get any kills out of it. So yeah, big indeed. Coming out there for Pikachu, and any sign right now is a positive, big positive for them the way this game has been starting, obviously. So huge for Pikachu. Now, Forsaken Archer, I mean, her item build is very interesting. Obviously, I think a lot of it had to do with the fact that she was at the bottom lane initially, but she went to Ring of Teacher first, and now she has a power supply picked up with a boot, so not that that's bad by any means, but maybe not the most ideal being that mid. But it's what she has to work with, and again, her farm is actually not that bad. 28-8 now compared to the 35-12 Torture, so still losing in creep farm, but at least managing decent farm. But then you have a free farming Draconis in the meantime while this is all going on at the bottom lane. Enzo just finished his Steam Boots. He also has a Life Tube and his own Ring of the Teacher on top of that. So, lo and behold, Draconis is off to a great start, and I think it's safe to say that will continue.
Here's Bubbles just sitting there off to the side in the fog. And actually, an Astrolabe picked up by Ophelia. So
wow,
her farm has definitely recovered. Has the 1 kill on their team, but they are still down by a significant amount. But
Draconis actually finds Bubbles right there. He's like, I know you're hiding somewhere. And he goes into the jungle, and sure enough, spots him. But Bubbles with the quick shell surf. Parasite running with the Skeleton King, actually. And that'll get Bubbles to quickly fall back. So they're going to push this lane in. They're just auto-attacking the creeps right now. They got another creep wave coming. So pretty good timing coming out right here from TteS Esports. Whitalaba and Enzo will now start pushing the tower. Bubbles just sitting off to the side. It is only game. I don't know if it's going to be a tower kill, but it's going to be close, actually, if you Dragon Flames here especially. In fact, there we go. Just wanted to push it back. And now Bubbles, if he hits level 6, actually, and gets a port to come in, this could be something. And he is going to go in right here. He just shell surfs for some creep kills, though. Yeah. And he'll fall back. So no gank going to be coming out. But some good tower pressure being applied by Whitalaba now back in the jungle. Will continue to farm. Where is he? Where the hell is Whitalaba? He is... Yeah, oh, he's in the Ballista. That's why. And actually, yeah, so they're actually going to keep pushing it, and they may get the tower coming. Meanwhile, at the top lane, the Wrath of the Pharaoh going to be used on a Plague Runner, but a poor coming in. Plague Runner will forget the kill right there with the Plague and bouncing around back and forth. Ophelia takes some more damage. There's a freeze on Ophelia, and Ophelia will fall as well. Great bounces coming out right there. Riser playing that Plague Runner. Big dive from Pikachu. They went in between the towers. In fact, the invulnerabilities used, it will be killed actually. So that's good, but great turnaround coming out from Plague Rider.
Not only were those very favorable bounces for Riser, but I'm pretty sure the ultimate just came off cooldown.
Yeah.
I mean, it must have just come off cooldown, so that was an absolutely huge exchange for TteS Esports. And Riser almost has an astrolabe of his own on top of those steam boots, so he's pretty damn tanky.
Yeah, it
actually has the most HP in the game.
What is he at? 1062. Yeah, he is up there. Yeah, the most in the game. So, Riser actually porting mid, by the way. Maybe trying to help set up something here in the middle lane, but quickly falling back, and Forsaken Archer will be fine. And speaking of Torture, though, running into Hammerstorm, but again, Hammerstorm, he gets another rune here. TPS Prices has been big, making sure to get every single rune, it seems like, from the Legion team. So again, a small positive there, but hey, if you're Pikachu in the case right now, you're just looking for any positive. Bubbles will shell surf away as Parasite comes charging in. Of course, again, doesn't want to get caught up with that face hug and then eventually fall as a result. Draconis, though, he must have bought something else because he's still sitting on the same items. Probably a Mana Tube. Yeah, Mana Tube. And actually a couple of Punch Daggers being delivered to Whitelba as well. So he will have his Ghost Marchers here after the Blood Chalice pickup. But yeah, the Sustainer already going to be finished on Draconis. And look, there is actually good stacking going on in the jungle as well.
Yeah.
Triple stack Wolf Camp right here that he's going to take out. That's obviously another, especially when you have actually, in the meantime, hold that thought. We see Wrath of the Pharaoh coming on top of the piercing arrows, and Torture will fall right there. Excellent execution coming out from Pikachu, and they may be able to push this middle tower now.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of resources were used. If they're able to get this, and that was definitely a proper gank. But I look at that, and then I immediately look at the golden experience. I'm like, okay, what are they at after that? Like, they got that kill. They used a lot of people. And it's still, like, massively in TteS Esports' favor. So they did get the tower. That was a good trade.
Yeah, oh, of course. And again, but even so, going back to your point, I mean, you look at the golden experience, so they got a great gank in the middle, they got a tower kill well executed. They're still down by 3,000 gold and 6,500 experience. And we're only 11.5 minutes in. So that is a pretty significant lead, actually, especially with the experience at this point in the game. And Draconis being level 10, actually, I'm sure is a big part of that. You look compared to the Hellborns, that he's already 2 levels higher than anyone over there. And again, this early on, that is very significant. But like I said, I mean, you got to give credit to TteS Esports again in the sense that they've been stacking this jungle pretty well, actually, for Draconis. And he already just cleared it up. He's now sitting at 380 gold per minute. Of course, you expect him to go for that Nullstone first item, so going to be going the Blessed Orb first, and then the eventual pattern after that. So well on his way to that. There's the Astrolabe finished on Plague Rider as well, you talked about earlier, so good for him. And Torture, it seems like maybe working towards that tablet, has a major totem picked up on top of the Grave Locket and his Steam Boots. Right now, though, we're sitting at a 4-2 hero code advantage in favor of TteS Esports. So for Pikachu, you got Forsaken Archer, 300 GPM herself. I mean, so again, carry on here playing this Forsaken Archer. She is doing what she can, at least it seems like. 1250 gold saved up. Steam Boots picked up on her to make something happen. Plague Rider needs to be careful. Oh, he's going to get flanked, actually. Ophelia coming in. There's a Skeleton King root. On top of that, the Minotaur's down. There's that piercing. There's even Hammerstorm charging in, and Plague Rider will fall. So Pikachu actually doing a pretty good job of collapsing right here in this game and getting some nice ganks.
Again, though, I right after that, I mean, that's great. I look at the experience in gold, and experience is actually still shot up to 7K. It's a little under that right now, but I mean, they are getting these kills, but they're using a lot of resources and a lot of heroes moving around, so they don't really have one hero just straight up farming like Draconis is, or actually Draconis has moved to the jungle and opened up the bottom lane for the Glacius, and that's fine and dandy. That's just perfect. So yes, they're getting some kills. They are getting some pushes now as well, but I just don't. Is it enough? Is the question.
Yeah. Well, they got to try something, and that's exactly what they're doing here. Now Pharaoh's sitting off to the side. He's ready to initiate if you need be. In fact, there we go. Is he going to try to Wrath of the Pharaoh right here? Connect tasty while he catches Torture right there. Glacius points in. That was a great crippling volley, though. No piercing arrows, unfortunately, but still so much damage on Plague's background. But Draconis joins that party. He still has a Cataclysmic Assault. I guess he doesn't need to, though. Forsaken Archer will fall. Double tap coming out for Leon Black, actually. And the only one to die there for the Legion team was that Plague Rider. While they get 4 kills in their end, Hammerstorm, the sole survivor, and TteS Esports, well, they've already been in a great spot. They just got a lot better. Draconis is already going to have his Blessed Orb. He's going to have basically like a 16-minute Nullstone here on top of Steam Boots. So Yeah, it's that was a good attempt there, definitely from Pikachu. I mean, it was a great Wrath the Pharaoh, and I think actually if Forsaken Archer actually had piercing arrows off cooldown, that could have been a little bit different because it was a great lineup right there, at least on 2 heroes. But unfortunately, it was not off cooldown, and well, that's just how the game works, of course. So
It was, but Draconis wasn't even there yet at the time,
True.
and he was a big portion of all the damage that happened towards the end there. Now he is actually the lowest hero damage, at least for his team. Plague right at 20%, Jesus. Yeah, it's a little out of hand right now. 14 minutes at 11,000 experience difference. That is absolutely massive. If I was to say that like if this is a 35-minute game, that'd be like a 25,000 experience lead. At least that's how it would feel. So, yeah, this is pretty crazy at least right now. Getting out of hand a little bit for TteS Esports.
yeah, I mean in the end, though, I mean, Pikachu, obviously, they've only lost 1 tower. They've only lost the bottom tower, so by all means, they're still fighting this out as they should be. Now, Pharaoh is going to catch Draconis, actually, and Bubbles follows it up. So, hey, if you are going to start making an epic comeback, that is a step in the right direction, of course.
Yeah.
As a great pick right there. And Pharaoh seems like he's been fairly active with that Wrath of the Pharaoh hook, and definitely deserving of credit for that. Hammerstorm in the meantime trying to run away. Kelfield going to be used, though, to counter Parasite right there from chasing him down. And actually, Parasite will not be able to complete the kill. Shell Surfer away from Bubbles in the meantime as well. And Parasite will just, again, have to fall back. So some good team support coming out right there. But, again, a lot of sticking together. And they all will have to fall back as a team. Now, Whispering Helm just finished on Forsaken Archer. So she does have her first solid item pickup there. Again, this is obviously they're in a decent deficit here early on, but you like the Whispering Helm choice from Forsaken?
Yeah, I think it's fine. I don't know. It just seems to be the go-to item, I suppose. I used to like seeing when you're down really hard, or for Forsaken Archer, just something like the first item Shield Breaker. Now I know people are gonna be like, yeah, but it's the cursed shield of a Plague Rider, it just mitigates it. It's on, yeah, but you're gonna have to cut through that armor somehow. Like, I hate hearing that excuse all the time. Like, yeah, but they're gonna stack armor. Maybe if they have like an Armadon stacking like 40 armor, it might be a bad idea. But Plague Rider, it's only 8 armor. It's not like a Keeper of the Forest or anything like that. But
It's not like a 12 armor.
it's not 12. It's
Not
only
12,
8. And actually, right now it's only 4. So it's
No.
nothing.
This tower is going to fall right here. So.
Hellborn Tower.
More of a lead now, even for TteS Esports. 6,500 gold, 9,000 experience. And sure, Draconis, he was delayed a little bit right there, but he's still farming 406 gold per minute, and he's actually pretty much a creep kill away from getting the. And again, you look at the jungle, man. TteS Esports, I don't know who exactly is doing it. I'm sure it's maybe even a team effort, but we see right there, even Draconis going to stack for himself. Plague Rider going to stack this one over here. And this is going to turn into, oh, I guess it already was triple stacked, actually, so yeah, never mind, that's kind of pointless. But he's just going to keep clearing it up. So he has a Snowstone now, and again, if this is the typical Draconis build, it's probably going to be a Shrunken Head to follow. And just with those 2 items alone, I mean, he's already just so powerful. And then he'll also be level 16. Then maybe the Savage Mace after that. Parasite, though, finds Hammerstorm in the jungle, gets the kill. Kelfield already used by Bubbles, and he's just going to sit. Oh, the Wrath of the Pharaoh, a half a second too late. Coming out right there from Book. Not able to connect. Great attempt, but just not in time. So White-Talbot, though, was that level 1 Codex? Yes, it is. Still a level 1 Codex. We'll see if he upgrades it, but he's been making use of it, man. He's been roaming around as a good Parasite does.
Yeah, absolutely. What level is it? Just 1? Yeah, okay. So it's looking, yet again, pretty strong, pretty solid for, I almost said DWI. I was going to look at Enso because he's really the one that's kind of like the shining star, at least early on here for TteS Esports, and will carry it to the late game. So as you mentioned, the Shrunken Head, once he gets that, there's really going to be very little that the Hellborn team can do. Especially, it's so good against Pharaoh because Pharaoh jumps in with the ultimate. He has the Hellfire. By the way, Pharaoh is not leveling up his Hellfire. He's actually maxing his Wall of Mummies before that. I find that very strange. But maybe he just wants the extra damage you get from the true damage from Wall. I'm not 100% sure, but it does last longer.
Yeah, I think that's more of it. It just simply that it lasts longer. And again, when you compare it, when they have a decent team for kind of clumped up. I mean, they got not only Hammerstorm, but of course Forsaken Archer with the piercing arrows. So maybe that's the goal right there. Now Hammerstorm thought he was being a little bit nifty. Is he going to survive from this? He's invis. Oh, the Glacial Tapwar coming out actually. And Leon Black will get the kill. Obviously, he ran right past the Revelation right here. That's why he got caught initially. He was invisible at the end, but Leon Black was not about to let him get away. So good use of the ultimate right there. Gets the kill, and then Draconis will clean up what I believe was a triple stack. No, it looks like maybe even a double stack, but still a good amount of farm coming out right there for Enzo. yet again now at 430 gold per minute already. So, yeah. I see some fun talking going on right there. White Talbot was chasing down Book, but Book fell back himself.
I gotta say, this new Glacius skin, he kind of is a spaz when he ults.
Yeah.
Like, he just kind of goes crazy. He starts moving around like a spaz. You have to watch that next time he does that. That was
yeah,
weird.
I don't know if I necessarily caught that, but I want to see the spaz move out. Come on, use it, Leon. 100-second cooldown. Use it as soon as it comes off. But yeah, that was, again, a great heads-up play by him. So, well, the lead does, it's not like, again, it hasn't just been completely amplified to the point where they might as well concede, but it is still just going up and up. 2,200 gold saved up on Forsaken, so we'll see where Rachi falls next. Maybe that Firebrand pick up now into Geometer Span. Piercing Arrows even used by her to clean up a last creep wave right there, and then she falls back. Again, this is game number 2, obviously, and as you see on your screen, Pikachu is actually up 1-0. They ran a very aggressive push strategy that was just overwhelmed TteS Esports. But game number 2, clearly it's been in favor of TteS Esports literally right from the beginning.
Yeah.
As the level 1 Kongor attempt was completely foiled. Now, nobody died, so it's not like it was that horrible. But honestly, now that I think about it, it might have been actually better if some of those heroes actually died, because then they would have just been back at base right away and regened and already going back to the lanes. And because a couple of them got to the lanes pretty slow. But actually, I think the setups of the lanes were also just pretty poor in the first place. So.
Yeah, I don't know if they would want anybody to die, but
yeah, never mind. That was a stupid thing to say.
Especially with the blood.
Maybe it would have been good if they gave up the bloodlust skill on purpose.
Yeah.
Maybe that would be.
Maybe
a good
they should have given them Kongor too. Just given them a star. That probably would have been a lot better for their strategy.
It's next level, Trail.
I think the biggest thing was, well, first of all, like the Hammerstorm support, dual lane for the Forsaken Archer against the pseudo tri. Well, I guess it was kind of a pseudo tri with Ophelia, but that lane up against a Parasite with a Glacius, Ophelia's not going to do anything. You have a support Hammerstorm. What the hell is he going to do as far as harassing people out of the lane? He's not going to do anything. And then on top of that, just the weird item pickups you had because you were trying a level 1 Kongor with the first item, Ring of the Teacher, onto Bubbles. It just didn't work out at all.
Yeah.
They got caught. They got a little greedy trying to take out that level 1 Kongor. And, well, it reflects in the numbers at the 21-minute mark.
Yep. Definitely a big part of it. So, well, I will say, I mean, again, they're actually, when you look at it from their point of view, I mean, the items that they have aren't bad. They got a Portal Key now on Bubbles. A Shrunken Head is actually coming up here for Forsaken Archer shortly. On top of the Whispering Helm, of course. And then you have Ophelia, the Astrolabe, the Shaman's Headdress, the Plated Greaves. So she's in the works of, I think, would be a barrier idol here. I mean, items aren't horrible. Again, it's not like they're getting completely overran, but it's just, TteS Esports, I think, is just on that next level, though, as far as their items go, and just as a team. I mean, that Codex hasn't been leveled yet. No, it's still level 1, but he did upgrade back to Ghost Marches again onto Parasite. And again, man, Enzo's farm, 450 gold per minute. This is Draconis for you, but really, TteS Esports has done a fantastic job. Every single time I see Enzo farm in the jungle, he's at least farming a double stack, if not a triple stack, it seems like. So
I know it.
Really doing a great job of keeping that stacked up between, I'm sure, Leon Black and whoever else. And speaking of Leon Black, doing some counter warding here. And hell, he's got Steam Boots and a Power Supply as well as even Mystic Vestment. So he's been able to take strong advantage of the farm here. But again, Forsaken Archer has just been free farming herself in the meantime at the top lane. She's now up to 360 and actually will have a Shrunken Head now going into a next fight.
Yeah, I was going to mention that actually earlier, how the fact when you were mentioning, wow, there's actually a lot of stacks here for Draconis early on. And that, on top of the fact that they have a Parasite who's also a jungler, that's very impressive to see. Because normally, like, you know, during the time when we saw lots of stacking for Draconis or Silhouette or what have you, or even Soul Stealer, actually, when he was popular for a good amount of time, I never really liked to see junglers on the same team because, you know, you don't want to take away that farm from all those stacks. But Parasite, even though he's jungling, actually took a lot of creeps. Yeah, like you mentioned, we were able to stack the jungle very effectively for Draconis.
Despite that, speaking of Parasite, he actually did a nifty thing right there. He took over a Wild Hunter. In fact, I think he's going to do it again. He took over a Wild Hunter. He sat on the Ancients as Pharaoh was trying to pull it to stack it, and so it didn't stack. Now here he goes again. He's going to come over here. He's going to find Hammerstorm, actually. Ooh, we can get a kill right here, yeah. If he gets the open, then the Codex and everything. Is he going to go for it? Yeah, probably not worth it. He needs to be careful. Oh, wow, he does open right there. He's like, hey, chase me. Of course, he is magic immune, so won't need to worry about stuns or anything. And I guess we'll be fine. So maybe that's what he was thinking. He knew he was going to be fine. But, yeah, it's a little nifty play going on right there for my Talaba, playing that Parasite. But, Man, I keep going back to, I mean, TteS Esports, now, again, I don't think they need to be worried about this necessarily, but Forsaken Archer just still is just farming away up here at the top lane. She hasn't been distracted at all, it seems like.
Yeah.
Ever since she's moved up here. And it is reflecting in both her farm and her items that she has, so you gotta be a little bit careful about that.
It is kind of crazy how Pikachu's kind of not really bounced back in this game as especially the experience league just kind of goes out of hand, as it is mostly all dumped on Draconis. But yeah, the item pickups, like you mentioned, Portal Key, Shrunken Head, Barrier, it is kind of crazy. But yeah, actually some initiation onto, wow, the Barrier was actually attempted to be popped by Nier there, but just not in time. And so much burst damage onto that lowly support Hammerstorm. It does have vestments, but it's a level, what, 2 codex now?
Yeah.
Yeah, level 2 codex.
Yeah.
So dishing out a lot of damage is Vitalaba onto the Hammerstorm, who only has 800 HP.
Yeah, that actually would have been pretty clutch by Nier. That was a great idea right there. He got the Beer Idol off in time right before the Codex, but wasn't to be, and Hammerstorm did a fall, as you saw. So, yeah, it's that Parasite at the same time that he shows, you know, again, just that burst potential. So Hammerstorm could definitely be a victim for him. Bubbles, definitely another victim for him. And really anyone on the team. I mean, he'll if not exactly kill them, I mean, he'll get them very, very low, and I'm sure the team can clean up. So. But again, now going back to that point there, I really think it's more of a case of TteS Esports that they're just not focused on necessarily finishing the game, or really just overwhelming to the point where the game could be over just yet. Again, it's sure that they may have been able to already, but at the same time, you know, you're ahead, get further ahead. We see that all the time. You might as well play safe in that sense. You're already down 1-0, so you want to really make sure that you do force that third and final game. And on top of that, you'd have a Draconis that at the you want to make sure you get that Nullstone Shrunken Head combination because it's just so freaking powerful, and he does have that now. So he's ready to go. He's level 17, and this happens every time we see a Draconis. It seems like at least one that's successful. I mean, he gets a 16, he gets the Shrunken Head Nullstone. He presses R, and as you said earlier, it's so great not having to worry about actually focusing who you're targeting. You just literally press R and you press A attack, and then it pretty much does the work for you. So now some tower exchanging going on between the two teams, but we'll see if TteS Esports falls back first, because like you say, if you're ahead, it's always better to defend. But they might just keep going, actually.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like they should actually just maybe fight them heads on. They don't really need to push, unless the thought is they're just going to push into the high ground right now, which they probably very well can do. I will say too, with between the impalement, oh no, they are actually going to defend this. So massive TPs.
Oh, and actually a Kelpfield coming out as soon as they poured in right there. Draconis starting to take a little bit of damage, but there's that turnaround on the Hammerstorm. He for some reason decided to stick around and maybe keep them occupied. Okay, I guess he DC'd apparently, had a DC symbol, but he was like, hey guys, I got this, don't worry. Never mind, I'm dead. So yeah, great. That was mass TP. They poured it pretty much at the same exact time. That was actually pretty cool to watch coming out there for TteS Esports. But ooh, nice save on the Minotaur right there, coming out from Ophelia, actually porting him back to base before Draconis kills him. Now I don't think Draconis used a Shrunken Head. Yeah, he didn't even use a Shrunken Head right there. Obviously, it wasn't even necessary. So he still has the 10 seconds on that. We get the tower kill. They do defend their bottom tower. It is not in deny range actually. It's 6 life away from that. So. Not able to deny it just yet, but we did see the power at least of this Legion team a little bit.
Yeah, Parasite's also pretty good for pushing. People don't really realize that, but when you jump into Catapult and having that extra damage on top of the extra damage that you get for just being in a Catapult, like the Catapult damage on top of it on a tower, they push really, really quickly on top of the impalement that you have from Torture, which is maxed up at level 4. So they're pushing power. I mean, it doesn't seem like crazy on paper, but actually in the meantime, hold that thought. As actually he does get away, it looks like. So flirting with death there with that Parasite.
Yeah, I just happened to go to it as he barely poured it out, and he had maybe like 20 life right there. I mean, that was very, very close. But good reaction by TPS Prices. Again, the game's been very difficult for him especially. His laning presence wasn't the greatest. Parasite has just been hunting him down, it seems like, and he's 0-4-2 here. Not doing too well. He has pretty much been the ward bitch as well, so... The items, House Striders, and Mystic Vestments, not much else. Anyways, again, Legion team. Barrier Idol going to be worked on with Plague right here, so I do feel like, again, obviously they are ahead. They very likely could just group up and push to try to finish this game, but get your damage item on Draconis. That's where they're at now probably, and then look to do it. And, of course, by damage item, you usually see the Savage Mace, but Yeah, we could also see something like Geometer's Pain, but we'll see which route Enzo decides to go. But the longer you do take, you are buying time for carry on here. Playing this Forsaken Archer to keep farming up more and more himself. And in fact, Firebrand just delivered, so he is now going to start putting out some more damage output. And hey, it could, if it all comes together here for the Hellborn team, if they get a great Wrath of the Pharaoh, you know, a 5-man Wrath of the Pharaoh, and Mummy Walls come up, piercing arrows on top of that. Bubbles the follow-up. I mean, it's possible.
Yeah, they have the God comp on paper. It's a matter of executing it. I do love the Pharaoh plus FA combination. I think it's really strong, especially if you do get multiple people in that Pharaoh and that Mummy Wall. Pharaoh's actually down here bottom all by himself. I don't think he realizes. Oh wow, he's actually kind of. That was really curious. I don't know why they just didn't initiate on him. Actually, you got the flank around from Torture. There is a Ward of Revelation. They did spot him out, but Pharaoh's gonna be a lot of trouble. The heal comes out. He will fall, though. They're actually going to pursue this. The Shrunken Head is up onto Torture. He's pursuing. There's the Shrunken Head to carry on. There's a Barrier Idol, actually, for Ophelia. The Plague Goo comes out. So much damage. The creeps die instantly as well. Does near, and he will fall. Parasite wants something. His face is actually down, so why is he up here? He's actually in a very sticky situation. Oh, good push tablet coming out to save his life. Who was that actually? Who passed that push tablet? Actually, it was Riser. Now they get the credit for the tower, and yeah, things are looking pretty bad and pretty grim here.
Well, I think that was even a little bit worse what Book did right there. He honestly would have been better off just dying initially, because what he did, he baited them into his team basically, and then Ophelia even fell as a result of that. And now this push is just going to be massive here. Now, nice pushing goes on. Actually, Torture will fall right there, so a good catch coming out here from the Hellborn team, but they did use quite a bit right there to do so now. But the Legion side, actually, they are going to fall back. Again, it kind of plays safe in that sense. That they're down here, they're down Torture. Not worth really pushing it. Shrunken Head is still on cooldown for Draconis. Just fall back, farm some more, and then eventually regroup. But yeah, it seemed like Pharaoh there, as you even said at the beginning, I mean, you got to wonder a little bit what he was even thinking, being there by that far up by himself. But it didn't end it very well, as you would expect.
Yeah, definitely not. And Draconis, look at that. He's got some more gold pulled up. 4,100 for him. Glacius actually has a pretty penny as well, 1,700. Shrunken Head up on Torturer and looking for that Sheepstick probably now. They just have tons of items. I mean, look at the golden experience as they should. Probably leveling up that Codex is white. It's at level 3 right now, so he can burst down pretty much, well, bubbles instantly. We saw him burst down Hammerstorm with even a level 2 Codex. Hammerstorm has gained 50 HP since then, so, and only sitting at level 7. I haven't even seen that, but level 7 Hammerstorm compared to a level 11 Glacius. That's when you know things are bad.
Oh, Plague Rider in the meantime getting caught down here, but the Barrier Idol is going to be activated. Already tablet himself out of the Mummy Walls. Forsaken Archer is chasing, but Plague Rider dodging away right here. He doesn't have support really coming over, but he's just going to go into the base. In comes Parasite, though. Parasite wants to open, or does he? No, he does not, actually. Parasite coming in the last second, not able to get there in time. Now, Glacius is also nearby. Oh, TPS Priceless, you have no clue. Yeah, he just drops right there. So he will get caught out. Makes it a 1-for-1, but good catch initially. Torture in the meantime at the top lane. Shrunken Head activated. He was getting chased down. And actually, the Shrunken Head wearing off right there, so it's already down to 7 seconds now. But Draconis coming in with a flank. Good job with the Tornado, actually, a little bit slowing him down as he's trying to port away. Bubble's already out of there. Ophelia's going to go, but no, the chain reaction's hit, and Ophelia will be forced to fight. Not that successful, unfortunately, and she will go down. The Tornado's still doing a little bit damage, but yeah, she will fall. So they tried to chase down Torture, and again, it just did not pay off there.
Yeah, now she's going to have even more gold. By the way, Torture, they're leaving this defense tower undenied. I love it when teams do this, especially if you have a glyph up. There's just no reason to deny it. It just gives you a little bit more map control, a little bit more map presence because you can TP further up to a lane. So, yeah, Parasite leveling up that Codex, level 4 now.
I think it's level 5 actually. It's level 4 now, and actually the 5th is on the way.
He just bought another one. Okay.
Yeah, it's on the courier. So, and actually a Savage Mace just finished as well. by Draconis. So there you go. Those are the trio of items that you all love to see on Draconis. And then, as I was stating earlier, I really think that's the key where you're like, okay, I think we can kind of group up now and maybe even finish this game. But Forsaken Archer does clean out. Those what looks like double stack Ancients right there. So they're 426 gold per minute. I mean, again, she isn't doing that shabby herself. She's level 18 on top of that. She just finished her Geometer's Pain, I believe, actually. So, being delivered to her. And Hellflower is coming up here for it is only gameplay and bubbles. And if I was him, I would think about maybe even selling that Ring of the Teacher right now to try to get it before this fight happens. In fact, he does portal back. Okay, he sold Nope, nope, he buys a homecoming zone, never mind. This tower is going to fall, though, and will they continue the question? Doesn't look like it. Of course, Congo is up, so maybe that's what they want to try for instead. There's a reward of sight here by DPS Priceless, so Pikachu will definitely be aware of it. Going to kind of just run around for now.
They'll be aware, but I don't really think they can take a fight right now. Like, they're going to have to get pick-offs on one hero, back up, wait for the spells to be off cooldown, then try it again. But yeah, Congo is going to get pretty much annihilated between the, well, everyone being here, the Impalement, the Savage Mace procs. They obviously have the idea that they have the ward there, and then they scout out even more with some damage from the Fermented Soul.
We'll see if Pharaoh maybe goes balls to the wall here. Is Book going to take the risk? Is he going to go for it? He's going to dive in. Is he going to do it? No, he doesn't. Torturer will pick up the Token of Life, and that'll be that. Obviously, I was kind of joking. I mean, that'd be really stupid for Pharaoh to jump in right there to be 100% suicidal. And at the very best, you get the Token of Life, sure, but really, does that accomplish a whole lot? So he stays back. He does have a Barbed Armor, by the way. That's definitely fun. It's both a fun and actually an effective pickup, but especially against the Draconis, actually. Draconis, who can't necessarily, at the same time, can't necessarily control who it's all hitting when he presses that R. So having that Barbed Armor up can be pretty effective against him.
Oh, Barbed is fantastic against Draconis, but I just think he is a little too late.
Well, yeah.
And if he was a little bit more tanky, like, actually, I saw this transition, or this matchup of, like, Barbed Armor Zephyr versus a Draconis, and Draconis just kills himself. If everyone gets Barbed Armor, it's very, very effective. Hell, FA, get Barbed Armor. Hammerstorm, get Barbed Armor. The only problem is because they have such a low HP, it's like, it doesn't even matter.
Yeah.
Actually, FA has a lot of HP now that I think about it, 1,600.
Not bad. Again, she's been farming, actually. Oh, the Wrath of the Pharaoh missing with the bottom lane. They were trying to go for a free kill on a Torture. It does not work out, though. And Book, let's TT Esports know his disapproval there. Missing it. So, for the time being, though, TT Esports is still going to just keep things going. I mean, I guess Whispering Helm now picked up on Draconis, so why not get even more farm, I guess. 543 gold per minute. So probably going to see that Symbol of Rage next in line. I keep kind of hinting here that, okay, that's the item now. That's the item now. That's the item now. He wants to go one more. Sheepstick just picked up by Torture even. Again, he's the one with that Token of Light. And actually, you can try to maybe kill Bubbles down here. If Bubbles decides not to fall back, he's going to Shell Surf there. Oh, Bubbles in a lot of trouble. Here comes the Sheepstick coming out. There's the ultimate activated. It's going to be enough damage to chain reaction. No, the take cover got off actually just prior to that. Oh, I still don't know. It's probably not going to be enough, and it was not, so Bubbles falls. And now Bubbles is dead for a minute here. He cannot buy back. And we do see a push in the middle lane.
Yeah, the sheep only applies there for 3 seconds. It went from 3.5, then down to 2.5. Now they kind of met in the middle with 3. So it's not the longest duration in the world compared to something like a Health Flower.
Well, uphill attacks, but again, Draconis doesn't worry too much, although the illusions will be bursted down. But again, Bubbles is down for another 40 seconds. Torture is now here as well, and this is a queue. Again, Torture still has 4.5 minutes on that Token of Life. Probably going to wait for the next creep wave, maybe do a barrier auto use from Plague Rider, and then look to push this lane in. So, are we going to see that come out? Not just yet. There's a Wrath of Fire. There's the barrier auto going off. And here we go uphill. Blazing Flame activated by Draconis right there. Actually, Cataclysmic Assault activated, so he's just using it on the tower right here for the attack speed bonus. In the background, Sheepstick got a Forsaken Archer. And Forsaken Archer just melts to the ground. Had absolutely no chance. He does buy back, but will in matter. The Plague Ooze basket right in the background. Ophidus in trouble. Pharaoh will fall. Ophidus is going to drop as well. Parasite dies. But again, it just doesn't matter. TT Esports is just way too strong right now. And I think we're coming to a finale here in this game. The Hellborn team, they're going to try to stand once again for second after activating the truck. And Bubbles in the background wants to finish off Glacius, actually. He is going to get that. Bound Eye drops, but at what cost right here? Bubbles will fall in return, and Draconis now falling back to his teammates. Oh, great piercing arrows, actually, on top of Plague Rider and Torture, but just not nearly enough follow-up. He takes the Sheepstick, will fall back. Hammerstorm a great stun. Now, the melee racks are still up, but I believe they're going to start falling here. I mean, Torture, nice dodge, actually, chain reaction, hit for Forsaken. The Blazing Flight, Draconis, there goes, diving in with the Dragon Flame, gets both of the kills. Double tap coming out for Enzo, and there is the GG well played. So TT Esports will take game number 2. And as a result, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to a third and final game. If I've done my math correctly. Yes, we are. Third and final game here. TT Esports taking on Pikachu. So that is a good thing, at least, Charles.
Done the math correctly. One lost game plus another lost game equals game
I figured it out, guys.
3. Can you check this, please?
We do have a game 3. We do have a game 3. So, again, congratulations to TT Esports right there. And it's going to be a fun finish, I'm sure. But it really was a game where they went for the level 1 Conger. Yeah. Now, Again, ultimately, I think that may have been the big reason. But even after that, I mean, just the choice to lane.